Okay, hi everyone. You hear me? Okay. So I just really want to give you a kind of a quick overview of how my lab is using one particular JavaScript library to visualize our data. We're a traditional psychology research lab. We generate data sets to do with behavioral sciences. We analyze them. We present them in standard journals that like 2D, black and white, boring visualizations. But I didn't think I'd show you boring black and white graphs. So in order to try and get people interested in our research, we do other things where we try and do interactive or dynamic visualizations. And one of the best ways that we found to do that is with D3.js, which is a JavaScript library. And whereas most of the time when you see kind of really cool looking, amazing data visualizations, they're usually with really large data sets. Our data sets are not typically that large, but there's still kind of a need to get our audience to interact with the data. So I'm going to try and explain a little bit about what D3.js is, if you don't know, in the remaining 3.5 minutes, and show you how we use it. So this is D3.js. It was originally written by Mike Bostock, who was New York Times graphics editor. It's mainly him that does it. It's a way, essentially, I'll tell you what it's not first, which explains what it is. It's not a charting library. So what that means is it's not that you don't just give it data and it churns out a chart. You know, like you would in Microsoft Excel, you would click bar graph. It doesn't give you a default graph. It essentially binds data to the elements of the browser. So you can decide what your data is going to be converted to in a browser. It enables you to look at data in a browser. There's all sorts of custom graphics that you can design. I was going to pick one out, but I've forgotten which one I was going to look at. Maybe this one here. Lots of examples on the D3.js website so that you can do interactive graphics. And there's various help pages, the tutorials. I would say it's actually very hard to learn, which is kind of annoying, but it's getting more and more user guides to use, and it's becoming more and more popular. And there are many, many examples at a website called blocks.org, and you can have a look through all of these and learn how to kind of program in D3.js. So there's lots of cool examples here. Another useful way of getting to learn D3.js is through a website called blockbuilder.org. And this enables you to have your code on the right-hand side here, and you can see the visualization on the left-hand side. So one thing that my laboratory researches is the social dynamics of animals. We're interested in which animals groom which other animals, which animals attack which other animals, and from that we can generate social networks. So here you can see a social network of various animals, and they're maybe doing one thing or another to each other. Let's say this is grooming. And this visualization I was building because I wanted to be able to visualize the connections of particular nodes. So I've just programmed this to be able to, whenever I hover over a node, I can see which animal's directed to it and which animals it gets directed to. And the great thing about using this particular browser option, Block Builder, is that we can dynamically change it. But I'm sitting in a very strange position, so I'm not sure I can do it left-handed. I'll just change the node size here, for instance, just so you can see. We can make them much bigger or smaller. You get the point. So the main thing that my laboratory studies is social hierarchies. We're interested in how animals dominate other animals in a social hierarchy. This is an example of an adjacency matrix of a social hierarchy. Animals are ranked A to L. And the number you can see in each cell is the number of times that one animal attacked another animal. So alpha male attacked the beta male 100 times. Beta male attacked the alpha male 0 times. And this is an algorithm that we use to order this matrix to try and make all the higher scores of each relationship in the top right of the triangle. What I've done here is, and these are the kind of tables that we publish in boring journals. Sorry, boring visualizations in good journals. But here we can hover over each cell to actually find the corresponding relationship. So here this is looking at animal F and E, but further afield, B and K, for instance. We can interact like this. And the great thing here is with D3, you can make lots of simple examples and make a visualization work before you start building it up into a much bigger thing. So just to show you what actually is happening when we do this is the developer tools in your browser. And when you hover over certain things, it's dynamically altering the elements of the browser in the DOM. Okay, so I think I was going to go through others, but I'll just take you to one of my websites. So ultimately, once we've worked out how to build each of these, we can put it into a web page and get people to come to our websites and interact with our data themselves. And here is, again, my social hierarchies. There's 5 different social hierarchies, 5 different groups. And you can see that when we hover over here, people can see with the data what animals are doing to each other across many different groups. Again, it's a small data set, but it's great for us to be able to get people to interact with it. Further down, we have other types of graphs. Maybe I'll just go straight to the bottom one. What you see in these graphs here are 5 social hierarchies. Each line over time represents the dominance ranking of an individual, so that we can have a look and interact, such as like this, where we can have a look to see, well, what's the first animal doing in all of the other cohorts, and so on and so forth. It's a brief introduction to what D3 can do. You can make great interactive visualizations. If anybody wants to learn how to use D3 or use it for their data, I'm happy to talk about it.